We now consider filtering with grouping, aggregation, and transformation. Let's bring in the automobile data set again. We can group all 390 automobiles by year, select the MPG column, and compute the average over each year. But what if we want the yearly average only for cars built by Chevrolet? To answer this question, we have to filter the groups before aggregating. To begin, we save the output of GroupBy as splitting before aggregating. The returned GroupBy object splitting has an attribute splitting.groups that is really a dictionary. Its keys are the years and its values are the corresponding rows of the original data frame. We can in fact iterate over the splitting object and carry out computations. For instance, here we explicitly loop over splitting, the group name and group being the iteration variables. We print the year and the mean MPG for cars of that year within the iteration. Having a data frame group for each year inside the loop means we can filter before aggregating. We use the same loop again, but we now include a filter for automobiles manufactured by Chevrolet. We're not limited to printing the results. First, we can rewrite the loop as a dictionary comprehension. Saving that dictionary as Chevy means, the keys are the years, the group names, and the values are the filtered averages as computed before. We can then use that dictionary to construct a pandas series with this data. Finally, using a Boolean series with the same index in the GroupBy, we can perform a one-to-all comparison. Here, we prepare a Boolean column that is true for each automobile manufactured by Chevrolet. We do a multi-level GroupBy using the Boolean column Chevy and the year column. Chaining the mean method afterward results in a yearly average MPG rating for automobiles manufactured by Chevrolet and for all other automobiles. We see that Chevrolet consistently produced automobiles with a worse MPG rating than its competitors from 1970 to 1982, except in 1976. Now try your hand at GroupBy with filtering in the exercises. You've learned a lot about working with data in pandas up to now. In this case study, you're going to use data recorded from the Olympic Games going as far back as 1896. The data is stored in TSV format, or tab separated values, with rich information including medal type, event, country, and Olympic edition. There's a lot going on in this file, so once you've loaded it into a data frame, there's a lot you can do. You want to see here what kind of patterns you can find, which countries won the most medals in what years, that sort of thing. You've learned how indexing works with one-level and multi-level indexes. You've used pivoting to restructure the rows and columns of a data frame to provide more informative views. The pivot table is a powerful tool you can use now in your analysis of this Olympic data. You've also worked with GroupBy operations when the data divides into logical categories. Remember, the unique and value counts methods are useful for understanding what categories exist and how numerous they are. You've also used GroupBys in conjunction with aggregation, transformation, and filtering to manipulate your data in subtle and powerful ways. Get started with your exploration of this Olympic dataset now in these exercises. Having explored the Olympic data a little, one question arises. Why is there a column called gender and another called event gender? You can probe a little deeper now to explore the content of these columns and to make sure that they are in fact correct. You started this course looking at indexing, slicing, and filtering pandas series and data frames. Filtering in particular relies on using Boolean series to isolate parts of the data that are intriguing. This will come in handy as you explore these two columns of the Olympic data. You can also explore these columns using some of the tools we've seen for categorical data, notably value counts. Remember, this can help us with GroupBy operations, since GroupBy relies on being able to split a column into smaller chunks with a common value. Group bys are often combined with some kind of statistical aggregation like mean, standard deviation, or count. This functionality will also help you scrutinize these columns. It's time to try the exercises to figure out what these two columns mean.